Welcome to the David Allen Podcast Show. Thank you so much for showing up. Welcome to the David Allen Podcast Show. My name is David Allen, and this is the podcast show that we're going to be talking about certain subjects, or any subject under the sun, if you will. Today's subject we're going to talk about is an emotional state of mind, if you will. Let's talk about that, right? So we're going to go through these topics, or this one topic particularly in this video, and you could relate to it in any which way you want to. So I'm going to talk about it, and in that way you can get it to a better understanding, if you will, or completely understand what it is that you're experiencing in your life. Now, we all grow up with certain emotions, if you will, and part of those emotions are a deep understanding of being attached to certain things with those emotions. And I'm going to start off with saying that the feelings that you have based on what it is that you are relating to in your life. What does that mean? Well, that means that your emotional state of mind is based on the feeling that you have for that meaning that you put behind it. In other words, let's say you rode a bike and you fell over. Okay, so you got back up and you started riding it again. And the more you rode that bike, the better feelings you had towards that emotion. Now, here we don't do judgment, envy, ego, pride, jealousy, greed, or validation when we get to it. We are just talking about a subject that you can get a better understanding from. Now, logically, I can look at the emotion, if you will, in a certain way. And what does that mean? That means that you can look at the emotion as a negative form or a positive form. There's only two ways you can really look at it. Usually, when somebody brings a negative form of an emotion to you, it is a source coming in from previous events or things, moments that have meaning to them in your life. In other words, you fell off that bike. How'd that feel? It hurt you. So you relate pain to it, or you linked to your emotion that it's pretty hard to do or something of the kind, instead of getting back up on the bike and trying it again. So you did do that. You got up on the bike and you rode down the road again and kept challenging yourself, or kept going forward with what it is, and finally you learned how to ride a bike. Right? It's the same thing with this as a podcast. These are beginning new podcasts that I'm going to be giving you information on. Emotion is an energy that we all carry. All humans carry. Everybody carries, even animals. Now, you don't hear an animal telling you about their emotions. You can facially see it on their emotion when you're feeding them or anything of the kind. But us as humans, if you will, we get into it to where we actually want to talk about it. And this is where you get into, like, people say, well, I need a therapist to talk about it. Or you need a therapist to talk about your situations that we're going through. We're going to stick with the bike. You fell off the bike, got back up, and you weren't sure about moving forward. So now how can we move forward, again, with a positive form of energy, if you will, an emotional energy that is a state of mind that gives you the ability to embrace this energy and move your life forward? Well, by linking and putting a better meaning behind it. In other words, it's an accomplishment. You fell off the bike because you are learning balance, the balance of your weight, if you will, on a single two-lane or two-tire bike, if you will. You're balancing the left and the right, and this was the first form of most people where they balance out the left and the logic side and the creative side of their life. And a lot of times this goes on and on for years, but when you get into further life, sometimes you fall off on the left side, sometimes you fall off on the right. Now, again, we can go left with the masculine side and the right with the feminine side. So when you fell off that bike, you scratched your elbow, let's say, right? Let's just talk about like that. You fell down, you scratched your elbow. Oh my gosh, you're bleeding. Call an ambulance. Mom came out, dad came out, someone came out, put a Band-Aid on it. Okay, get back up on the bike and keep moving forward. You decided to do that. Logically, you learned from the first form you fell off. Now, this time you looked on it like, well, I'm going to accomplish it. Go further. Let's say you went down, 24 more feet. 24 is a good number, so we'll just use that. And you didn't fall off until then. And this time you fell off, but you caught yourself. Like, in other words, you caught yourself going down that road. Again, these are energies that you were embraced with in the beginning without knowing them. And so as an emotional state of mind, some people link pain to them. Pain as in, like, I fell off that bike, that's why I don't ride bikes, and I don't want to say that you can't get back up on that bike, if you will, and go back up and do it again and again and again until you can actually ride around the whole world or ride across the country, right? However you want to do it. So when you creatively got back on that bike and said that I can do this and move forward with it, you're putting a better meaning on it, as in like an accomplishment meaning. Now, most people will tell you about negative forms of meanings. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to enlighten you and telling you that it is the same source of energy that you have is this emotional state of mind. What do I mean on that? Well, the reason why you're feeling upset, bad, unhappy about your life, your situation, things that you've gone through is past tense energies that you have gone through in your life that have embraced you or given you this link, this meaning that says you're not good enough. You don't qualify for this. You don't qualify for that. You need validation for this, or you need this for that. You don't. I'm here to tell you don't. These are all logic ways of thinking that says you creatively can't get out of that mindset and move forward over towards a creative one. What is a creative one on that? Well, you pick the bike back up, logically, sitting on the ground, and you're rolling down the street. But this time you decided not to sit down. You decided to stand up and drive the bike creatively, right? One day you might let go of the handlebars. Well, this time you've picked it up and you start moving your legs and your hand, and you emotionally went down and started moving. And a lot of people link emotion to motion creatively, saying that, well, your emotions are down or up, this, that, and then some. Take a pill and you'll be all right. Well, this ain't that. I'm not going to try to get you to link to it as like you need a therapist to talk about your emotions in any way. I believe that you have the ability to control it and understand it, of what you're feeling is coming from a past tense event. You look at bikes, you say, yeah, I rode a bike one day and I fell off and scratched my elbow, and my uncle came and put a Band-Aid on me. It's the same theory based on what it is when you said, I'm no longer going to accept that as a meaning that I want to put behind it. The meaning now you're putting behind it is that I did get back up on that bike, rode it down 24 feet, and then rode it again 240 feet, and such forth, and moved forward. And so what I'm saying on that notion is that the meaning that we put behind these things really depends on your state of mind. Do I need whatever it is, some form of new device to make myself feel better that way? No, I can control it and say that I'm allowing myself to open up to a new way to understand this feeling. An emotional state of mind is you getting to the point to where you are understanding the emotion logically and creatively, masculine and feminine, the left and right side of your mind. How are you embracing that inside you as an individual? Well, we can control our reaction to it. In other words, you didn't cry about it, you got back up, you didn't even tell uncle about it, you just got back up after that 24 feet, and you started riding again and again and again, and you got so good at it, you rode across America, got an award for it, or you're still running, right, in some way. Now, how can I embrace that energy to have as an individual? Well, when something comes in and you see somebody with an emotional state of mind, usually they're linking fear, a fear of a logic situation that happened in their past that says, this is what happens when that comes in. And again, these are past tense energies that we relate to, that we have linked meanings to, that we come forward with and understand them in a different way. We're going to get rid of all that and move forward with just a positive way you can look at it. Yeah, you learn these experiences, and they were to teach you on what this emotion feels like. Why? Well, because you needed to understand what they felt like and how they feel like. Why? Well, because the reason why is because when you see it again and again, as in like a bike, you can pick up that energy. Now you're going to relate to the fact that you might fall down on the bike. Well, again, this is why they have training wheels, if you will, when it comes down to the bike. Some people can just pick it up and ride with it and go from there. I don't remember a time in my life when I had training wheels on my bike. I just kept riding it. But at the same time, I'm getting to is your emotional state of mind when you get to it. People try to relate to their source of negative energy, and it's a past event that they've gone through. In other words, someone's telling you about something that had happened and it ended up in a negative way and embraced you and instilled fear in your life. In other words, don't do that because you might succeed. Don't do this because you might succeed. Don't talk to this, or don't, in other words, judge the situation, envied the situation, egoed the situation, or put greed into it, or pride and jealousy and judgment, and embrace that into you as an energy of saying that that's what that feels like, or that's what that could be. You're never going to know unless you try. And the way I get to this is basically the same meaning that we all put behind a lot of different things. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, yeah, but, if I run 100 miles a day or a mile a day, then my emotions are great. My energy's high and this, that, and something. That is great. But do it for 100 years. And we'll see in the other life form where you ain't going to be able to keep up. Because a lot of times you have to understand this energy just as you as an individual, as you by yourself. So what does that mean? That means, can you handle it just by yourself right now, at this moment, this meaning, this minute that you have today to completely understand what it is that you're feeling? So you have these feelings of past tense negative energies of things that have gone not the greatest way in your life. Well, someone's linking some past tense energy that doesn't exist. Again, these energies usually come up from people that are still stuck in stagnant energy in the past that say, You can't do this, you can't, all these can'ts, if, ands, and buts come up as in the form of fear. How can I embrace my new life, or the new version of your life, and say that I'm no longer accepting those as like things that I want to be a part of? None of them are going to last in the future of your life. If you want to create something great, it's a positive form of source of energy that you're embracing, and you're allowing it for others to take, others to realize that you have the same ability to embrace it. Now, I'm not sitting here all happy trying to yell at you and all that stuff, okay? It's just a simple podcast and a simple way to get you to understand this energy. I could take it logically, or I could take it creatively, and all the rest of the stuff that come on the feminine side of my right side of my mind, or the left side logical side. What does that mean? Well, you can limit yourself with some form of limited belief that says you can't, if, and, buts, or fears in some way. I mean, it's taken me a while to get to these videos and to other things, but I finally, I think, found a great place to do them. So, and I really don't kind of go with anything else on that. When I'm going to be interviewing other people who are doing this, we're going to be talking about these things anyway. So, validation, greed, envy, jealousy, pride, and ego are all energies. Emotional state of mind hits that energy. You don't need to be a psychologist to figure this out. It is inside you, where you can emotionally tell yourself that you have the ability to control this emotion. Your reaction to this emotion is what matters. It's the only thing that you really have at the end of the day. Nothing in life is going to stay the same for you if you keep going and trying to say that this emotional state of mind that you're in, this fear that says that you don't have the ability to be positive. You don't have the ability to say great things to people. You don't have the ability to create what it is, or go after your dream, or create something that is so significant that it changes the world, or that it changes someone's outlook or perspective out into what they're doing. And you have this ability every single day, and every which way you can do it. We all do. We all have these gifts. What I'm telling you is that when you link a meaning to it, if you will, an incantation, if that's what you guys want to call it, or what you've called it, you can easily put some pleasure to it, if you will, if that's the other word you want to do it. So instead of linking pain to it and why you're not doing it, and fear, these are words that people use to try to say that that's why they did it, or this, that, and then some. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection. It's funny when you get into these energies, because a lot of times it's like a light. We turn it on and we leave it on and we say, oh my goodness, what happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? What happens if I do this? What happens if you just do it and stop being, you got a couple things. You got a human being and you got a human doing. So we got to decide that when we get into what it is we're doing. Yes, the sun's going to be there, the air is going to be there, the land's going to be there, and the water's going to be there. So when we get into what it is that you want to do, well, can you create something that's significant enough to change the world in a positive way, enlighten people in a positive way, without expecting anything in return, if you will? People that succeed here, and people that have success in their portfolio, or in their life of accomplishments, I'm going to use, didn't do them because they got some materialistic things for doing them. The things that have lasted over the last 100 to 200 years have been profound things that have been done to move the human race forward, to move you forward, to give you information based on how you can control it. Somebody comes in with a past energy that's negative, in a negative source. Obviously, everything is going back down to ground. The electricity you have in your house goes back down to ground. You are a conductor of electricity. We ground and bond ourselves consistently to get rid of these negative sources of energy. When someone's talking about something that happened to them in a negative way, they are stuck in the past on this negative emotion and trying to get you to feel about it. Can you feel this? It's what they call as like a pity party. Yes, I feel it. Can we move on now? Can we move on to this present moment? How do you feel today? Do you feel good enough? Of course you do. You got a heartbeat and a breath. You got a video, and you're trying to go through all this stuff and really understanding it. So let me ask you this. What's it going to take for you to understand that you have the ability to control and move your life forward in a positive source, in a positive way? Stop letting others control your thought process when it comes down to what it is you really want out of your life. Well, it's going to take you to stop allowing other things from rejection, fear, false evidence appearing real, or your depiction that you got based on the meaning that you're putting behind it. In other words, you think you need validation in some sort. You need this, that, and then some. You need some sort of, I guess you'd say, pill, if you will, to move forward with your life, to understand that you don't, really don't. You have all this stuff within you, and you can allow it out by this creative way, which is the right side of your mind, creatively coming out with it. What is it that you want? How about that? Let's get to the real source of it. What do you want out of this life? Do you want a negative source of constant form of drama in your life? Then you're going to keep giving energy, if you will, to any negative energy, emotions, feelings, ego, envy, greed, pride, jealousy, and validation. You're going to keep negatively going forward with those energies, and then you're going to constantly put them in play instead of bringing the positive source, which is the positive things in life. Can you achieve that? Yes. Tell them that. You can achieve anything you want to achieve. I'm here to tell you that. You can create a better song, a better movie, a better product. You can come out with a lot of better things that we have today out in this world for the human race in many different ways. You have the ability to do it. We have the fastest technology that's known to us, around us, and the ability to turn around and make it happen in so many different ways. And so one step at a time, A lot of people say, well, you give something a name and then or you build it and then it comes in. But again, most of these past tense that we get into are based on like profit, if you will. What does that mean? Well, profit, like as in like if I'm not going to create a profit from it, I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And as someone that doesn't look at that, I'm telling you that when it comes down to it, can I change a life with it? Does it have good intentions? Is the motive behind it good? Is there good intentions on it? Yeah, absolutely is. What does that mean? That means that that's what I want to do. I want to create something that you can move forward with, not expecting anything in return from it other than the fact that says, well, that's what got you further in life. Who told you, I'm throwing this out there, that you couldn't do it? Who told you that they're incapable of it? Who told you that you can't emotionally grab this energy that's negatively holding you back and just shut it off and no longer allow it in your life? In fact, you can almost laugh about it every time it tries to come up in your life, as in like somebody's still stuck there trying to impose that this is where they're at and this is a good thing to do. If you're not here to creatively move as a solutionist, as somebody that can move people forward, then what are you doing? You're wasting your time that you have the ability, the same 1,440 minutes that everybody has today to move forward in your life. So again, let's back up. You fell off the bike 24 feet, you got back on. This time you didn't tell your uncle to put a Band-Aid on it. You're still bleeding, you're going down. Now you went 240 feet, right? What does that mean? Well, that means you didn't acknowledge the other side of it. And what I mean on this is you're not linking pain to any of it. You're linking, allegedly, you want to link great things to it, if you will. Whether you call them an incantation or we call them an incantation or you call them a link, if you will, or in some sort we're embodying something else, a meaning, if you will, to it. What do I mean on these things? What I mean is that if you don't acknowledge that side, then you'll do everything that's on the right side to impose that when this stuff comes up, it's not going to stop you. Some people go 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, their whole life, before they actually do something that they realize that their purpose here is to help create something significant, simple for the human race that can move this world to the next level. What is that next level? Positively embracing things that keep people alive. And I mean like alive, like all life matters to me. Information. You're not going to take any of it with you when you leave. Not any of it is here just to benefit from as an individual. And any of the information that you have didn't come from like you as an individual. It came from either a higher source or it came from some form of schooling that you took. What do I got to do with it? Yes, you're going to be blessed with it if you can come up with something that gives good intentions out there. Does it serve the people? Does it help people go forward in life? Yes. Well, then those are things that are actually going to push you forward into your life and absolutely get you to go where you can create something significant. You can do anything you want. Whoever told you couldn't, I want to be the first to tell you they're wrong. And, whether you say I'm right, wrong, or this, that, and that's great. I hope that sticks with you, and I hope you can tell me how that feels later in life. Look, my name's David, and this is the David Allen Podcast Show. We're going to be talking about anything and everything under the sun, each individual time with a different subject. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to make sure that you understand what this podcast show is about. Emotional is an energy state of mind. It is a state of mind that all of us are in, whether we're happy, sad, this, that, and then some. What are you sad about? What are you happy about? What are you reacting to? And when we get into this depiction of a bike, you getting back on it, moving forward. I'm only saying that as an analogy. So whether you're going through something in life, whether you think that someone, says that they love you and they hurt you in some way, they don't. Love don't feel that way. So what you're feeling is a lesson of love, and you haven't left it yet, emotionally. And we're only talking about emotions right now, okay? So mentally, physically, spiritually, and all the rest of that stuff. We'll go through each one of those subjects on another video. Anyway, this video is based on that emotional state of mind. So we want to get your emotional state of mind to the level of saying that you can positively move today forward, knowing that you have a positive source of energy inside you, and you can embrace this new version of your life by allowing it to come out and allowing those things and giving other people those things. What does that mean? That means that you can possibly move today as everybody else does and do something different in the time that you have, positively to help and consist with what it is that you really want to do here. You can do anything you want. You can create something that gives other people the insight, the light, if you will, inside their life, that'll better their life in many different ways. Say something beautiful to them and go from there. And that way you can move forward and see what it is that you want to do. Okay? We're going to end this video for that. So thanks for watching, and I hope you like, share, subscribe. I might do some editing on it, so if you see it, but again, this is like the introduction to it. So thank you for showing up.